On a cold morning in 1943, a large man stepped onto the balcony of his villa, still clad in pajamas, holding a sniper rifle. He scanned the camp below with the air of someone looking for a way to pass the time before breakfast. Within minutes, a prisoner lay dead. A single shot to the head, the victim chosen not for any crime, not for any reason at all, but simply because Amon Göth felt like it that morning. And this was no unusual day. This was just another Tuesday. There is a uniquely chilling quality to Amon Göth that sets him apart even from the long list of monsters the Third Reich produced. Most killers in that system operated behind layers of bureaucracy, hiding behind orders, behind paperwork, behind the comforting distance of logistics. But Göth was different. He killed for pleasure personally with his own hands, looking his victims in the eye. He did it so often, so casually, that prisoners in Plaszów developed a survival instinct entirely around avoiding his gaze. They learned to never walk alone, never appear visible from his balcony, never do anything that might attract his attention, because being noticed by Göth could mean a sudden, senseless death. To understand a man like this, we have to go back to Vienna in 1908, where Amon Leopold Göth was born into a comfortably middle-class family. His father ran a publishing business, and nothing in his early childhood hinted at the monstrous path he would later take. By his teenage years, however, he was drifting toward radical nationalist politics, absorbing an ideology that would channel his worst impulses into a uniform, a rank, and a gun. When the Nazi Party began spreading into Austria, he was exactly the type of young man they sought: angry, ambitious, convinced of his superiority, and fully prepared to embrace a worldview that dehumanized entire groups of people. Göth joined the Austrian Nazi Party in 1930 at the age of 22. From the very beginning, he displayed a talent for violence that the SS recognized and rewarded, moving him swiftly up the ranks. By the time the war was in full swing and the machinery of the Holocaust was operating on an industrial scale, Göth had positioned himself perfectly. He was granted command of a forced labor camp, a place where he answered to almost no one and where the lives of thousands rested entirely at his discretion. Plaszów was established on the grounds of two Jewish cemeteries on the outskirts of Krakow, a telling indication of how little the system cared about symbolism or decency. When Göth assumed command in February 1943, the camp held a few thousand prisoners. Under his rule, it expanded rapidly, eventually housing tens of thousands. Conditions were designed not just to exploit, but to crush the spirit completely. Göth understood instinctively that terror was a tool. If people lived in constant fear, they could not organize, could not resist, could only focus on surviving the next hour. The morning shootings from the balcony became the most infamous symbol of his reign. Survivors recounted them with a stunned disbelief that never fully faded, even decades later. The randomness was devastating. He did not shoot those who had broken rules or disobeyed orders. He shot those who happened to be in his line of sight when he was in a particular mood. Sometimes he missed deliberately, simply to watch the terror unfold. Sometimes he unleashed his dogs, two large beasts named Ralph and Ralph, trained to tear prisoners apart on command. The combination of the rifle and the dogs ensured that every prisoner woke each morning, knowing it might be the day they ran out of luck. His personal kill count is impossible to verify with certainty, but testimonies and records estimate that he personally murdered between 500 and 2,000 people during his time at Plaszów, not counting the mass executions he ordered, the liquidations of ghettos, or the deportations he coordinated to the death camps. And these were direct, personal killings, his hands, his rifle, his dogs, and his whims deciding who would die that day. The liquidation of the Krakow ghetto in March 1943 marked one of the defining moments of Göth's career and one of the most horrific single operations he participated in. The ghetto housed tens of thousands of Jewish residents who had already been stripped of property, rights, and freedom, confined to a walled section of the city with barely enough food to survive. When the order came to liquidate it, Göth led the operation personally, moving through the streets with a level of zeal that even some of his SS colleagues found extreme. He shot those who could not move fast enough, targeted those who tried to hide, and executed children in front of their parents, parents in front of their children. Survivors described a man not carrying out orders reluctantly, but one who appeared to genuinely revel in the act, moving through chaos with energy and focus, as though this was exactly what he was born to do. It was near this time that Oskar Schindler enters the story. Schindler operated a factory close to Plaszów and had established a working relationship with Göth. This proximity provides a stark window into how the system functioned. Schindler, initially a war profiteer exploiting cheap Jewish labor, witnessed Göth's actions firsthand. The horror he observed eventually catalyzed Schindler's transformation into a rescuer, saving over 1,000 lives. The contrast between the two men is almost surreal. The factory owner, initially driven by profit, evolving into a savior. The camp commander, once a bureaucrat, becoming a methodical, personal killer. Göth's life at Plaszów was grotesquely lavish. While prisoners starved, he lived in a well-furnished villa, surrounded by stolen goods, fine food, and alcohol. He kept a mistress, Ruth Irene Calder, who resided with him, and a Jewish housemaid, Helen Hirsch, whom he regularly beat. Her survival would later become a pivotal element in Schindler's story, as Schindler literally gambled for her life in a card game against Göth. These intimate details illustrate the casual, almost casual, authority Göth wielded over human lives, the ability to impose cruelty at whim, and the grotesque imbalance of power within the camp. Psychological profiles and survivor testimonies reveal that Göth was not detached from reality. He was not robotic, not dissociated, not some broken mechanism. He was fully aware of his actions, fully present, and chose to continue them. This full agency makes him more disturbing than many other killers. There is no excuse, no mechanical malfunction, only conscious, deliberate cruelty. He was inventive in his violence, finding new ways to humiliate, harm, and kill. Survivors often noted his intelligence, his ability to read situations, to notice subtle reactions, to let someone feel momentarily safe before inflicting devastation purely to observe their response. By 1944, even the SS began encountering problems with Göth, not because of his murders, not because of his brutality, but because he was embezzling on a massive scale. He skimmed supplies and valuables that should have gone through official channels. The resulting corruption investigation led to his arrest in September 1944. Remarkably, the organization running the Holocaust arrested one of its commanders not for the thousands he had murdered, but for exceeding his authorized share of stolen property. Göth remained in SS custody, awaiting trial when the war ended a fate far removed from justice for his countless murders. After the war, Göth was captured by American forces and transferred to Poland. In 1946, he faced trial in Krakow before a Polish court. Survivors testified with painstaking detail about the horrors they had witnessed: shootings from the balcony, dogs unleashed on prisoners, and the liquidations he led. The trial record is harrowing, filled with individual names, precise moments of cruelty, and the sheer weight of personal testimony. Göth sat through it all with a composure that many found deeply unsettling, occasionally claiming he had been following orders or attempting to minimize specific incidents. Yet the evidence was overwhelming, and the verdict inevitable. On September 13, 1946, Amon Göth was hanged near the site of the camp he had commanded. The execution required 3 attempts before it succeeded, a grim punctuation to a life defined by unchecked brutality. What remains haunting is not only the scale of his crimes, but their texture, the intimate, direct cruelty of a man who could have operated from behind a desk, like so many others, yet chose daily to make his violence personal and visible. Historians and psychologists continue to debate whether he was a product of a system that created him or a person who found a system that gave him free rein. The answer is likely both. The ideology provided justification and structure, but the appetite for cruelty was already present. The Third Reich removed all obstacles between his desires and their enactment, granting him a uniform, a rank, and tens of thousands of helpless people within his reach every day until someone finally stopped him.